Hi, let me show you how this can look in a real specification setup. So what we have here is we have some levels. This level here is a business level, and then which is the highest level. And then the next level is a stakeholder level, various stakeholders, what they want, what their requirements are. And then we come into the product. And we have a product level, a solution level, the technical solutions needed to create this great product. And then the last is we call the EVO level. These are the actions we take to create the solutions, and the solutions create the values of the product, and the product values create the stakeholder values, and the stakeholder values create the business level values. Now, what we can't do is go right to the task, like have a set of tasks that we are sorting somehow and say, oh, okay, we need to make a table of contents and I'm going to do it really well and that's going to affect the profit, because I am focusing on value. That's just too much of a gap. Not only is it too much of a gap, like you're skipping something. We're going to look at what that's something you're looking at that you're skipping, but obviously, there are many things that affect the profit, and the effect of your table of contents here is going to be minimal at best. But still, we can connect and see that it makes sense to work on the table of contents. So not everything we do, not every little task we do will have huge effect on profit, but we should still make the connection, still make the argument, still prioritize up against these values. Okay, so let's look at the profit. What I've done here is I've quantified it. I've created a scale here. This is just a made-up example, but millions of euros per year in company profits after taxes. And we're currently at 100 million per year, and we want to double that to 200 million. Okay, so the goal here of profit is clear, from 100 million to 200 million a year. So now, then I can look at, okay, what can we do with our stakeholders that will improve the profit? And obviously there are many things, and we can have many things here, like we could do things with sales, we could do all kinds of things. But one thing that we have selected here is the training costs. So if I click here on the training cost, you can see that what I've done is I've quantified it as euro per user to train them to become an expert in our system. And the status, the level today, is at 10,000. So we're using 10,000 euro today to train a user to become a professional expert user. Now, then we set the goal. The goal is we want to reduce that to 4,000. So we want to go from 10,000 euro per user to 4,000 euro per user to train them to become an expert. This is actually taken out of a real example that I've worked on, where we reduced the training cost first from 5 days to 1 day to actually no training cost. But in this case, we want to just go from 10,000 to 4,000. Now, obviously, if we do that, that will improve the profit, right? It will reduce. There might be other things that makes us not improve the profit, but this part will contribute in the direction of improving the profit if we reduce per user the cost from 10,000 to 4,000. If you have many users, that's a saving that's going to add up. So now what we can do to reduce the training cost, or what can we do to reduce the training costs? And obviously there are many things we can do. Get a cheaper trainer, right? We could get a better deal on the facilities. Many things. But what we've looked at is this thing we call ease of learning. Now, what I've done is I quantify that as a number of days in training. I say, hey, right now we're using 3 days to train these guys to become an expert. And the goal is to reduce that to 1 day. Now, not only is it less days as far as the training itself, but maybe we're flying people in to the training, there are hotels, there's meals, there's lots of costs involved. So if we can get that, into 1 day, they fly in the morning, they do the training, and they fly out again. That would substantially help reduce the training costs. So clearly a connection here. So But then what we have to ask is, well, how can we reduce the training from 3 days to 1 day? Right? We can't just cut the days. We need to improve something so they learn the same amount, but in 1 day rather than 3 days. So then, of course, this user manual idea here is just one little piece of the puzzle. We need many other ideas. But if you're responsible for the user manual, you say, hey, what can I do? And you look at your user manual and you look at some of the values. I put in some accuracy, some speed here. Now, one of the values, speed, I have just quantified that as the average number of seconds from a user, wants to look up some information in the manual until they've found it in the manual, right? Now, then I've said, hey, we measure that, and it took 120 seconds, 2 minutes to find some information they're looking for in the manual. Now, we can improve, we can set a goal, say, hey, we want to do that same search and finding it in 20 seconds. Now, if we could make it that much more easier, rather than spending 2 minutes to find something, if we could improve that to 20 seconds and then maybe next to 5 seconds, then obviously that would help improve the ease of learning. So that would improve the user manual, and the user manual improve the ease of learning. Now we can look at our tasks, and we can say, hey, what task can we do to improve the speed of the table of contents? And we can have some ideas. We're experts at table of contents, of user manuals. We put our effort in there, and we can have the argument that what we do will improve the speed, and then we can actually measure afterwards. We can see, hey, how long time does it take now? You can do some measurements, say, yeah, we improved it from 120 seconds to 20 seconds. Now what we've done is we have linked our actions at the technical level, at the coding level or product development level, to the improvement of value. This is sort of a direct, we do something with the manual or the table of contents, and we can see directly that it improves, it changes. Then we've selected this because that will improve the ease of learning, the number of days in this case, and that will reduce the training cost, and that again will reduce or improve the profit, right? Reduce expenses, which will improve the profit. So that's how we connect the tasks we're doing and how we argue for which tasks to do to improve the business value. But we can't just blindly say, hey, we'll do this various set of tasks and hopefully that will improve the profit. That's too weak of a link. You have no proof. And actually, that's beyond this article. What we actually do in addition is we just don't say, oh, I like this as a solution. We do something we call a value decision table, where let's say that we want to reduce the training costs. What we do is we set up a set of ideas for how to reduce the training costs, and then we do what we call a value decision table, where we look at against these values, can be a set of values, what are the actions we could do which would be the most powerful thing right now for the least amount of effort to make that improvement, in this case on training costs. And we do this between each value, so that we end up looking at tasks that will give the most effect on our values, for instance the training speed, the table of contents lookup speed. Now we've selected these values for what value improvements would be most effective at improving these values. And we keep going like this all the way up, so that the actions we do at the action level are the most effective things to produce the value going all the way up to profit. And that way, we really enable the team to produce massive amount of value at the profit level, at the stakeholder levels, at the product levels. So that's a little idea. Hope you liked it, for how to connect your actions to the business value. Hope you liked it. Now, You might be a little bit curious. It's a little cutout of a tool that we are developing. We'll be launching soon. It's a fantastic tool, but I can't really show you more or tell you more right now. But if you're curious, stay tuned. We will have available a fantastic tool very soon. All right, thank you.